Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today, where your boy always has something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays, but today he's got something to say about the New York Yankees, as the New York Yankees, they're closing in and finalizing a deal with the San Diego Padres to trade for Juan Soto. This has come out by a few big MLB analysts. The deal looks very close. We're going to look at a few of those reports. Look at what the hell does this mean for the New York Yankees in the upcoming 2024 season. And more importantly, what does this mean about the Toronto Blue Jays? Oh, what kind of pressure is this going to put on us to get Shohei Ohtani? Because if the Yankees do go out and they do get Juan Soto, the pressure is going to be on, ladies and gentlemen. So we got to do something about it. I'm your host, Adam Peddle. Nick's going to come in at a few moments at some point in the stream to give his 2 cents. He's at work right now. I just had to dip away from work just for a little bit. But I'm okay with that because this is very important. This is very groundbreaking in the entire MLB offseason. It's been very, very stale, and a lot of people have just been kind of waiting on Shohei Ohtani. But what you're seeing right now is other teams who aren't in on Shohei Ohtani. The Yankees have not been really rumored to be in on Shohei at all. In fact, Shohei doesn't even want to go to New York. That report came out yesterday. So with that being said, you're seeing the kind of downside of being in on Shohei and having him wait on his decision, where you're going to miss out on people like Juan Soto, because the Blue Jays were interested in trading for Juan Soto earlier. A few weeks ago, we reported that we were supposedly the favorites by Hector Gomez, and now it doesn't look like we're going to get him. So let's get into it, guys. Before we do, make sure, drop a like, hit the subscribe button so that we can continue this Blue Jays offseason. Let's get into the reports right here, guys. And also throw in your questions in the chat, guys, because I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this right here. John Heyman says Yankees and Padres are said to be making significant progress on a Juan Soto deal. No word it's done or official yet. That was about an hour ago, okay? That was about an hour ago. I'm also just checking my tweets here so that I don't miss anything with y'all. But then you had Hector Gomez come out a little bit later, and he's very close again with the Dominican community, and especially the baseball players, because he was the one who reported the Blue Jays were in on him. And he says right here, a person very close to Juan Soto says Yankees trade for Juan Soto is almost done. They're just waiting for the medical records to clear. So that's huge, guys. And there was other reports there. They're using other kind of wording like they're finalizing the deal. The deal's almost there. They're just waiting on it. But you saw in the last 24 hours, even in the last 48 hours, the Yankees start to pick up a little bit of steam with Juan Soto. They started to realize, okay, we're going to have to come around on this deal if we do want to get Juan Soto. Because right here, Michael Mariano, he's also a New York reporter. I think he's more for Mets, but he also does, I guess, the Yankees too. He says, sources tell me in the last 48 hours, there you go, 48 hours, that Yankees became open-minded to the reality that they may need to ship both King and Thorpe to acquire Juan Soto. King, big breakout last year, moving from the bullpen, kind of a bullpen long role, to a starting role, and he dominated. He looked legit, and I thought they would have kept him, but they're rolling the dice, man. They want to get a little piece of that Juan Soto action. And I believe Thorpe, if I'm not mistaken, is a prospect. Let me just double check. Yeah, he's a prospect in the system of the New York Yankees, and he's pretty high up there. He's number 5 in the New York Yankees system. I'll flash over for you guys because you got Spencer Jones. We all know how good he can be. Jason Dominguez, we know him, right? He came up last year. Pereira came up last year. Chase Hampton, and then Drew Thorpe, a right-handed pitcher, and that's what the Padres were looking for in a Juan Soto deal, right? You got a guy who could play every day and a guy who's one of your top pitching prospects. For the Blue Jays side of things, it would have been the guy who could play every day, Alek Manoah, and then you would have had a Ricky Tiedemann. So this is their version of that, right? Because I do believe, Thorpe is their second-ranked highest prospect, so maybe it would have been a Barriera, who knew? Who knows? But apparently they came around to the last 24 or 48 hours to the idea of trading those guys away. And then to continue right here, that became a spark in trade talks. A catcher is something also the Padres told the Yankees they'd like to have included in a return. So they're really looking for a full battery right here. The Padres need to recharge, get that new catcher, get some new pitchers, and kind of recharge the entire thing right here. And with that being said, folks, you have over here, yes, the source by John Morosi saying the Padres return in the Juan Soto trade talks is expected to include King, Thorpe, and at least 2 additional players. So probably a catcher, as we heard, maybe another filler prospect. That is all we know as of right now, everybody. Right now, we're still waiting on the agreement. For those who are just tuning in to 125, you guys in here, drop a like if you haven't already. Let's get this to 69 likes. Even though it's not such a 69 kind of stream, we would absolutely appreciate it, guys, and hit that subscribe button because this is definitely impacting the Toronto Blue Jays. So, yeah, you go over. If they do get Juan Soto, that is going to start to look like a very, very scary lineup, right? We got over here by The Athletic a projected Yankee lineup, and in here, this was before they acquired Alex Verdugo. For those who don't know and missed it out, Yankees also acquired Alex Verdugo last night, right after we went live. They acquired him. Some people were speculating that Alex Verdugo would be included in the deal returning back to San Diego. That isn't the case, which is kind of scary because that means the Yankees, their lineup is looking a lot more scary. Over here, projected lineup for 2024, as of right now, again, we'll do some filler replacements here. DJ LeMahieu leading off like he usually does. Aaron Judge batting second. Juan Soto batting third. Giancarlo Stanton, DH, batting 4. Anthony Rizzo, 5th. Gleyber Torres, 6th. Now they have Kevin Kiermaier here in center field. We can put in right there Alex Verdugo. And probably he's going to even move up a couple spots. Maybe he might be batting 5th, 6th. Who knows? Maybe Stanton shouldn't even be this high, to be honest. Maybe Stanton moves all the way down. But still, that's Alex Verdugo now. Jose Trevino, their catcher. And then the prospect, Anthony Volpe. Ladies and gentlemen, that lineup looks thick. If you move Stanton, I consider Stanton a dud, to be honest. Rizzo can be good. Torres has shown of late, he can be good. Alex Verdugo is a good, consistent player. Trevino can be good. Volpe hasn't really shown the potential yet, but still a really top prospect. So really, and LeMahieu's shown some promise at times. So really, the only guys I'm not worried about is Stanton and Volpe as of right now. Volpe could break out and Stanton could pop one off you. So it's not like they're complete washes, right? You never know what could happen. So that lineup looks a hell of a lot better than it did as of yesterday. You know what I mean? That's scary. That's scary. Guys, and for those of you who are wondering probably, oh, well, they're trading away King and, they're also trading away some prospects and maybe some other guys. Well, what about their rotation? Rotation's still going to look nice, okay? Let's look at right now what exactly their rotation would look like minus a Michael King. So if we look over here, you've got Garrett Cole, of course. He's a legend. He won Cy Young. He's going to be the ace. He's going to be there for a long, long time. Carlos Rodon, he basically missed all of last year, but if he can come back healthy, that's a scary one too right there. Michael King is gone. Nestor Cortez, who had a bad year last year in terms of Cortez standards, but we know he can be decent. And Clark Schmidt actually a nice little breakout at the end. So that's 4. Then there's a hole. There's a hole there, right, with Michael King gone. Well, apparently, that hole looks like it's going to be filled up because the Yamamoto talks have started to pick up. I think teams have kind of realized they're either in or out on Shohei Ohtani, and they're starting to get some movement going with Yoshinobu, Yamamoto. Yamamoto looks like to be the next target of the New York Yankees after Juan Soto. Over here, Talking Yanks coming out and reporting. This is actually quoted by John Morosi. John Morosi said basically the Yankees will meet with Yoshinobu Yamamoto on Monday. And I've also heard the Mets are in on Yamamoto as well. So that's something that's starting to pick up a little bit right here. Because if you can go out, trade away Michael King, yeah, that hurts. But you go pick up Yamamoto. I mean, Michael King was great, but this guy's supposed to be one of the best Japanese pitchers to come out of the MPB league. Best thing to come out, right? So you replace Michael King in the rotation, you're looking at potentially the scariest, could be one of the scariest 1-2-3 combos in the entire league, with Garrett Cole, with Yamamoto, and Carlos Rodon, if he can get back and be where he was before. That's scary. And then they got good depth with Cortez and Clark Schmidt. I used to think that maybe the Blue Jays would have one of the scariest 1-2-3 if we were to get a Shohei Ohtani, for example. You could have Kevin Gausman, Shohei Ohtani, and then, Jose Barrios is, you know what I mean? Like, it could be, but I think that 1-2-3, if Rodon comes back healthy, is definitely one of the scariest in the league. Someone just said to me, Ben Nicholson-Smith. Ben Nicholson, oh, that was Nick. Let's go look at what Ben Nicholson-Smith is saying. And then I do want to transition a little bit because I put in the title, Blue Jays in Trouble. Oh, yes. So Ben Nicholson-Smith came out and said this tweet right here 9 minutes ago. Agent Scott Boras said the Blue Jays have remained consistently involved with his clients this offseason. Their bird feeder is full. Boras is rep by Cody Bellinger and Matt Chapman, among others. That's huge. I'm not going to totally derail this specific live stream totally, but there's so much more going on. That's really interesting. Cody Bellinger, Matt Chapman is something that we have been talking about here and there. Those conversations kind of left with the whole Ohtani stuff, but we know that eventually when Shohei Ohtani does make his decision, it's going to then turn over to the Cody Bellingers and the Matt Chapmans of the world. I'm going to give a quick shout out right here, folks, then we'll get Nick in this, to the sponsor of today's live play-by-play, today's live stream. Time for a quick shout out to Betway. Betway is the best place to make all of your sports bets on all of your favorite teams. Betway is also in collaboration with iGaming Ontario. Must be 19 years older to participate. And guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content. Shout out to Betway and welcome in Nick, who's coming in from work.
Everybody, I can only be here for a few minutes, but not to worry. We're going to be going live again later this evening, really doing a whole watch long and deep dive on the Toronto Blue Jays offseason, where it stands at that point. I'm going to give my 2 cents with the Yankees here. I'm going to talk about how I think it does affect Toronto. So, honestly, credit where credit is due. Shout out to the New York Yankees, man. They were down last season, 82 wins. They're going to be all the way back, guys. They're going to be all the way back. You trade for Verdugo, you bring in Juan Soto, and it is happening. It is happening. I am 100% sure that it is happening. The only reason that we haven't got a confirmed, this is the deal, is because they're working out, the little kinks right now.
The medicals apparently need to clear right now from Hector Gomez.
But it's happening. It is going to transpire. So you're going to see Juan Soto in a Yankee uniform, and that sucks from a Toronto Blue Jays standpoint because this guy kind of felt like the backup plan. He kind of felt like, and I'm crazy to say that Juan Soto is a backup plan, but the backup plan to Shohei Ohtani. And I am a little bit concerned right now, and I tweeted this out today, I am a little bit concerned about the Toronto Blue Jays and their position right now because you're going so heavy, you're spending all your resources, you are giving hyper focus right now to Shohei Ohtani, but you're seeing MLB managers, they're starting to get a little antsy, right? The GMs want to get a move on. This has been a very rarely quiet winter meetings. You do not often see this. Usually there's much more activity. I was looking back at last year's, and we had Bogarts go off the board and Craig go off the, so many different people went off the board in the winter meetings.
I think it's because you have Shohei Ohtani. This is an offseason that you're not seeing like any other else, folks. So
no, I completely agree, dude. But I do think that GMs are starting to get antsy, and now you're seeing the moves. Now you're seeing the moves happen, and you don't want to be the Toronto Blue Jays in a situation where you're waiting on Ohtani. You see Soto go off the board, which is your so-called backup plan. You maybe see one of those two guys that you just brought up, Matt Chapman and Cody Bellinger, fly off the board because they're going to start to get rumors happening. If that happens and Ohtani hasn't signed yet, and then you find out later, come weekend time, that he doesn't choose you, that is not a good position that you want to be in if you're the Toronto Blue Jays. And that's why I think you put in the title. Blue Jays could be in trouble.
Exactly. That was the next transition over there, is to look at Shohei Ohtani, because he's got to make his decision very soon here, folks. Because you've got right now, this, and we're going to cover this, obviously, in tonight's stream. I have it right here. You got John Morosi coming over here and saying Shohei Ohtani is expected to decide on his free agent destination before the end of the weekend, reported on MLB Network. So you have until now, until the end of the weekend. That's a lot of time where teams could see this and swoop in. and go and steal those other players away. However, I have heard in the past that the Bellinger kind of price tag is kind of determined on a few of these clubs that are in on Shohei Ohtani, right? Like the Toronto Blue Jays. But you're right? The Blue Jays could be in trouble because if Bellinger says, screw it, it's been a long offseason, I just want to get signed, I'm going to take the biggest offer, $250, let's go. And then if you don't get Shohei Ohtani, man, the Blue Jays are kind of screwed. What are you going to do then? If Bellinger's gone, Yamamoto's gone, Ohtani's gone, and now Soto's gone, you got Jorge Soler? Yeah. That's your next best option?
Well, and let's face it, dude. I mean, you were listing off all of the now plentiful assets that the New York Yankees have, and it is a lot, especially if they go out and they get Yamamoto, and I do think that there's a very good possibility that they go and they do that, right? So it's just a kind of scary position for the Toronto Blue Jays to be in, and I think right now we just really need Shohei Ohtani to make his decision, because if it is to the Dodgers, okay, that sucks. I'm gonna hate it. We're all gonna mourn that period where we believe Shohei Ohtani was gonna be a Blue Jay. But okay, fine, let's move on, let's do something about this. Let's go out and get Cody Bellinger or somebody else, right? Let's steal away Yamamoto from the New York Yankees if that's the route that we want to go into. But the worst possible scenario is you make it through this week. There's 5 days between now and Sunday, right? That is the end of the weekend. So if you make it all the way to Sunday and that's when he's making this decision, I would bet my ass that there is going to be at least one of the top free agents that flies off the board between now and then you're not going to have an opportunity to sign whoever that guy is.
It's tough. I mean, one of the top three, you're talking Ohtani, Yamamoto, and Bellinger?
I would say, I'm sorry. So let me rephrase, other than Ohtani, right? So if Ohtani's waiting till Sunday, I would bet that one of Yamamoto, Bellinger, or I guess Matt Chapman would be the next best guy there, is going to go off the board between now and between then.
Well, I think that's why you're kind of hearing a little bit of Blue Jays still talking to Scott Boras, because I think if you're the Blue Jays, the best strategy you can do right now to help you from avoiding that situation is to say, hey, look, don't forget about us. Just wait a little bit. Ohtani's going to make his decision, right? If it's going to happen before the end of the weekend, like John Morosi says, hey, we're going to put a little offer in here. Just wait for us. Because if we miss, we could come over the top big time. Because, look, the budget's there. Obviously, if you have $600 million ready to go to spend on Ohtani, that's a kind of guessing budget right now. It's time to overpay for Bellinger. Time to overpay for Matt Chapman, for the Blue Jays to get back some quality players. So I think that is what I take of that Ben Nicholson-Smith tweet right there. Just letting Scott Boras know we're interested. We're just waiting. And if you wait on us and don't get your player signed already, it's going to be a big payday.
It's honestly like one of those scenarios of who blinks first right here, because it does feel like everybody's kind of in this big standoff. And what you really need to happen, or what you need to have happen, is avoid panic. You can't have any one GM or any one player start to get antsy and then panic and then pull the trigger on something too early, because that is going to start the domino effect of like, holy crap, like we gotta scramble, we gotta go.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen across the entire MLB, right? So either Ohtani signs or somebody jumps the gun early, right? And you do not want that second scenario to happen if you're the Toronto Blue Jays right now.
Yeah, I mean, Yamamoto, I think you could afford to let him go because he's not a top priority right now for the Blue Jays positional wise. But you can't let, I don't even want Matt Chapman. I'm just saying this because Blue Jays want Matt Chapman. But you can't let Matt Chapman go, and you can't let Cody Bellinger go.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll put it this way too, right? If you do miss out on Ohtani, I think that you could let Yamamoto go. You could let him go. But I think that if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, maybe you do want to adjust. Now you do want to explore that option, and potentially it's been something that they haven't necessarily been giving their full attention to. I do think that they're still trying to look at everyone, but
for sure,
it is going to be really tough, right? To fully focus and to fully drive home the point of we want to sign you. But also, can we wait until that guy chooses? You know what I mean? Like, it makes you feel like a second place if you're any of these other guys.
Right, and that's why I'm saying, like, I think the best way you can just guarantee the delay is if you're saying, look, I'll pay you more than what you want.
Sure. If we miss, then you'll get the biggest 10% more than the other guy from us.
Exactly. And that's because if you don't, if your offer is weak, if your offer is similar or weak, and it's like, okay, then no. If you come in with a counteroffer guaranteeing more, again, I've never been a negotiator or GM in baseball, but I can imagine that's the conversation. Because it has to be, or else they're gone already. There's no point. I don't care about you, Blue Jays. I don't care. I care about money. if I'm Scott Boras.
No, I do agree. Guys, that's the lifeline for me, everybody. I got to hop back to work, but we are going to be live later today, breaking down the entire Toronto Blue Jays offseason so far. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of rumors and rumblings between now and between then. Maybe there'll be some more details about this Yankees deal and about the Toronto Blue Jays potentially being in on Cody Bellinger and Matt Chapman. I think Adam's going to go for a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below. Very close to 20,000 subscribers,
Let's go.
might I add.
Let's
and look
go.
out for our socials, because I'm assuming that we will be posting 1 or 2 clips from the breakfast television interview that we did earlier today, literally talking about Ohtani to the Toronto Blue Jays. And I see you guys asking about it. It did go very well, I think. So we'll get you guys those clips very shortly.
Cool.
Thanks so much, everybody. And go Jays go.
All right, go back. Good job, Nick. Good job, Nick. Go back to work and be working your 9 to 5. And guys, just a little note. You want to keep Nick here a little bit longer and keep him on the stream, you got to hit the subscribe button, guys. That's the only way we can actually convince sponsors to put their ads on our show, is if we have a larger subscriber base. So you guys just hitting the subscribe button, it literally costs you nothing. I have subscribers that our subscriptions I forget about on YouTube. So just hit the subscribe button, guys. Get us up there. Help us out, man. And yes, so Donna is saying, saw you guys on CP24 Breakfast TV. So yes, thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching and supporting. So to wrap this up, folks, yes, Blue Jays, this does put a bit of pressure on the Toronto Blue Jays to get this deal done with Shohei Ohtani. Because if you don't, like we just said, you're not going to have many options left. You're going to have to overpay for a Bellinger. You're going to have to overpay for a Matt Chapman. We don't want Matt Chapman here for that bat. Maybe the glove, but not the bat. You're going to have to go out and get a bunch of little one-off pieces, like 1-year deal, rental deals, maybe trade for Isaac Paredes. Do a lot of things that are going to complement the already core you have. But Ohtani's the only player out there, maybe Bellinger you could argue too. Ohtani's the only player out there that is going to go on top of your core. And now your current team is building around him. That's going to change the Toronto Blue Jays forever. So the pressure's on right now to get that done. Guys, send us your questions real quick. I'm probably going to hop off soon because I also have to go back to work very shortly and do a lot of things. So shout out to Jason right there, Jason Gregory with the dono. Lau says, missing out on Ohtani sucks, but it's not like Atkins hasn't tried all. We've put the biggest offer possible, and I've pitched him like hell. No, I agree. I think of it like this way, guys. Ohtani, the ball's in your court. It's up to you now. The decision on who you're going to go to, it's all up to him. We have done everything in our possible power to convince Ohtani that he should play for us, right? He came out and visited us in Florida, the Florida Complex League, right? That shows a lot. It's between us and it's the Dodgers, and at the end of the day, we can't do anything else. If anything, it's almost like when you're dating, when you're in the early stages of dating someone or flirting, and you gotta send a feeler text out. It's like, hey, but you don't want to be over desperate. You know what I mean? Just, hey, I like you. This is what we can do together. I'd like another date. You know what I mean? Let's make this for real, right? So you got to put that out there and see what they say, right? Connor with the question. Love the Connor's questions, by the way. How do you feel about Ross Atkins after trying so hard to get Ohtani since awful wildcard loss? I think it's literally the best thing you could have ever done as of so far. Oh, what's the best way to fix your team? Go get the best player in the last century. You know what I mean? There literally can't be a better thing you could possibly do other than getting Ohtani and then also trading for Soto and then also signing Yamamoto. That would be overkill, but it would definitely bring you home a chip. That's for sure. We got one more question here. Yankees, Jays, Rays, O's, and Red Sox 2024 AL East standings. What is your predictions if the Yankees get Soto? Okay, to wrap up with the Yankees stuff, if they get Soto, and I'm going to assume they're going to get one more pitcher, I think they're back, guys. I don't know what the hell happened to them last year. I think they're back, and they're going to be fighting for at least a wild card because Baltimore is going to be so good. I think Baltimore is going to be the favorites to win the division. Rays are going to be kind of falling off if they're going to send away people like Glasnow, Rosarina, and Isaac Paredes. So I think they're going to fall off a bit. Assuming the Jays still improve, I think it's going to be O's are going to be the leaders, and then it's going to be this kind of wild card tier of Yankees, Jays, Rays maybe, and Red Sox. It depends on if they get Yamamoto. They might be coming back in the mix as well, guys. But they also did trade away Verdugo, so who knows what they're going to do over there. Guys, that is it for this live stream, this really quick live stream though. So thank you to the 250 people who have been here currently live. And if you're watching the replay, make sure to hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 20K like we said. Hopefully we can get it by the end of the day, and maybe by the end of the week if Ohtani does sign. And as always, guys, go Jays, go!